Who Needs a Therapist When You Have a Friend podcast. You guys, today we're going to continue on talking about what happened to me in 2016 with EKU, with how they failed me on purpose, basically, and harassed me and did all of these things. So we are there. And also, you guys, I just want to let you guys know, I hope you're doing good. Like, how are you doing today? Like, I think it's pretty out today. It was really cold, actually. I'm a little chilly, but it'll be okay. I left off with you guys in summer of 2016 when I was at an orientation. And I want to just let you guys know that in 2016, when I went to that orientation, I'll just recap it because it wasn't very long. It says, in the summer OT seminar, orientation of upcoming graduate students, Colleen, which was the person over, my brain's not working today. She was over occupational therapy at the time, informed the entire student body that do not go to the president over departmental info. Oh my gosh. Hello, welcome to the Who Needs a Therapist When You Have a Friend podcast, you guys. It's me, Magenta. I'm here. Please email me, you guys. I'm going to put my email down below somewhere, and I'm going to let you guys, I want to hear from you guys because I don't want to just talk about myself all the time. I'm really hoping that you have listened to the other two podcasts that talk about me and just like other things, but also about how I went to EKU and they failed me. And I left off in 2016 in the summertime when I had went to the OT department. Like, I had went to an OT seminar orientation. And when I was in that, the leader of the occupational therapy department, her name was Colleen. She said, you cannot go to president of the college over departmental issues. She also instructed that there was a problem with the OT department, that we should come to her and not the president because he can't do anything, which ironically I thought was interesting because, I had just went to the president last semester and I knew she was targeting me. So we're already being targeted again in 2016. But you know what? Here we go. So then we're going to fall of 2016. We are starting graduate school. I can't remember what was going on in 2016. But we're back in 2016, so it's the fall. My teachers for this, I'm going to just give you their first names. So, or maybe I'll give you their last names, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to call her Hal, Baltusberger, Elaine, and Sparrow. Whatever. So, I don't remember if I called her Diane or Hal. Okay. So, I'm just going to say their whole name because, I get confused. And we're not about to do this. It's literally public information. So, whatever. Okay. So, Diana Hal had trouble understanding about my disability and my accommodations from the very first meeting I had with her on August 23rd of 2016. I felt like I was unable to do well in her class, even though I didn't receive. I felt like I was able to do well in her class, even though I didn't receive my accommodations of visual software for writing a SOAP note. Okay. And you guys, SOAP notes are going to be important in this story because SOAP notes are what you write whenever you have a patient, and you have to write that. Okay. And also I needed Read Write Gold for my comp test that we had, which a comp test is normally when you have a live patient, but I would have liked Read Write Gold just to read off to me like what the paperwork was saying and just everything like that. And she did give me extended time on quizzes and tests, so that was good, just regular tests. But not the comp test and if you failed a comp test at this point in the schooling, they would fail you out of the program. So you would be failed out. You had one other chance to get, to do well on that. And if you could not do well, then you would fail. And that's what was upsetting, that she wouldn't let me have a read-write gold on my comp test, because she would also count off for grammatical errors and spelling and things like that in the comp test. And that was pretty bad, because her comments on my writing skills were always negative and degrading, because written communication is my disability, and I needed the accommodations in the first place. And because she wouldn't allow me to have the accommodations on my comp exams, she would degrade me in the comment section of that. And yeah, that was pretty upsetting, actually. But Dr. Hal expressed her concern about my professional writing skills in a comp feedback, but I was not getting any accommodation to help me with my grammar and communication skills. So I didn't get read-write gold. I didn't get to computer to make sure I was spelling things right. I couldn't talk to the computer, because look, you guys, when you go to work at a therapy place, most of the time nowadays, especially, they're going to have like a whole drop-down box for these SOAP notes. Instead of having to write them out by hand, it'll literally give you a prompt, and you click which prompt you need for each area of the SOAP note. Okay. Now, given we are learning, but I still should have been accommodated with, basics, so I could have grammar help, because I literally can't spell. Okay. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You can't spell. Hey, but if I talk, I'm going to talk. You know what I mean? So with that part of my time in that class, I felt like it was not fair for me to have to handwrite my papers in her class without read-write gold, because, a lot of people who, of course, are in graduate school, or even just regular school, you can sit down and write a paper easily and have it, you could just turn it in and not worry about it, right? You could write a 30-minute paper and it'd be okay to turn it in. I cannot write a 30-minute paper and turn it in to be at the type of level that you need to be at in that regard. That doesn't mean that I can't understand the information. It doesn't mean that I don't learn the information. It does not mean that I do not understand the information. It means that my brain works faster than my hand. Okay? And yeah, I can't spell because I also have a problem with reading. Okay? Hey, I'm thankful that I can do what I can do, but sometimes you need help. And hey, people are using AI now to do everything. Okay? I didn't have that luxury in 2016. There was no AI for me. But I would have used it if I could. But see here, this is where it gets even worse. Okay, so Dr. Howe obviously understood that I was struggling in her class, but did not understand and did not believe that I had a disability, so she would deny that I had a disability. How interesting, right? Why would a teacher that is supposed to help people with disabilities deny that you have a disability? Come on now, right? What? So then I go to Spara's class, and overall, this class was actually a positive experience. She was a new instructor to EKU from Israel, and I only received partially my accommodations for her class. I got extra feedback on one paper, and I had to explain to her that I had to have a tutor to look over my paper because that one had to be done over the internet online. So I could I think we had to go home and turn it in for Thanksgiving break. But after I had a sit-down discussion with her about accommodations, I think that it helped with her understanding to be able to get that class taken care of. I still don't think she really understood about my disability because I guess people, if you can't see it, it's not a disability. But whatever. So she did fine. I don't really have anything negative about her at all, actually. But then we go to Elaine. Elaine, oh my goodness. This is my fieldwork class, you guys. So this is where I worked with someone at this time with diabetes. And I was excited because this was going to be my first client ever to work with. And it was exciting, right? So I had a meeting with her in October about my accommodations. During this meeting, she told me that she was afraid I would not be able to make it as an OT because I had accommodation, because of my accommodation. She also commented that I took quizzes on a computer called Evolved more times than other students prior to making a 100 on them. Okay, so you had to make a 100 on this. Oh, you had to make a 100 on this quiz at the time, okay? So who cares if I had to take it more than other people? Like, maybe I was just enjoying the quizzes. I think I had to take them maybe once over. I don't remember honestly anymore, but I was like, okay. And then they were a prerequisite for the clinical work, and she was concerned about my abilities to do work with people because of my disability. She inquired if I found quizzes too hard to think about leaving OT school. I didn't find the material too hard, but I did have a written expression disorder that I was determined to overcome. So I'm working my hind end off in school to overcome my writing and reading problems, okay? And she was trying to say because I had a writing and reading problem that I could not help people in OT, and that was just not the case. That does not hinder me from working with people. It hinders me from writing a book, okay? It hinders me from writing a book. It hinders me from basically that, from writing a book or a paper. But I can explain something when we're sitting right here, okay? She inquired, I found, we talked about that. Okay. So then Elaine, whatever her name is, I don't even care. Elaine, oh my goodness. My brain's not working. So Elaine let me know that it was almost midterm and we hadn't seen any clients yet. And the first soap note was due on 10/06. Well, she told me that she had given me my own client rather than letting me share a client with a partner like the rest of the class, because she wanted to see if I would be capable of seeing a client by myself to determine if I could make it as an OT without my accommodations getting in the way. Now, let me tell you, and I'll stop you right there, okay? I'm going to stop you right there. She said that I could not be an OT, so this is our first ever client, okay? You guys, this is our first ever client. And she says this. You know what she says? What's this? No, that's the wrong button. Okay. Anyway, so she's telling me that since I have a disability and that she thinks I can't work with someone, that she's going to put me with my own client that everyone else wanted in the entire class wanted their own client, but everyone else had to have a partner. Everyone else had a partner. Every person that did not have a disability had a partner to work on soap notes with and to work on their plans and their plan of cares and everything, okay? I did not have that. She said, since you have a disability, I'm going to make you work alone. Like, what? So I get singled out because of that, because you don't think I can help people by myself because I have a disability. And I mean, at the time I was like, okay, well, that I'm excited to have my own person to work by myself. Sure, that's great. But then I'm like, wait a second, why would you say that to someone with a disability? So you just want to make it harder on someone? That's literally what she wanted to do. She wanted to test me because she didn't think I was good enough or smart enough to do this work. Okay? And I was like, okay. So then I was like, all right. So when I sent in my first soap note, I did not receive any extra feedback or help in regards to my soap note. It was either right or wrong. I don't know. My accommodations called for extra feedback so I could learn because, I really wanted to learn and make sure I knew what I was doing. And extra feedback helped me to understand what I was doing right and wrong because they're saying that soap notes are objective. Okay, so they're saying that they weren't even that important. Like, they were objective, but they were subjective. So, like, S equals subjective, like something that the client says. O is objective, so like what I see, like only facts. A was my assessment of what was happening, and P was the plan of care that I had. Okay, so S equaled the something that the person said. O was objective, only what you see. And A was my assessment, which was supposed to be subjective and objective, but mostly objective, because you don't want to put your feelings or thoughts into the assessment that you are seeing when you go. So you don't want to tell them what you think. You have to be objective and only say the facts. And then P is the plan. Okay, so that's kind of how that goes. So I just didn't really understand like why I couldn't get feedback on that, but whatever. So additional attempts beyond what everyone else received to write a new note. I did not have to do any extra notes. I did not receive any more feedback on notes than anyone else in the class received. So she didn't help me. She didn't care. She just was saying, you either do it or you don't. In other words, we know that. Okay. Yeah. So I did not meet with this teacher again after I met with her on the 3rd of October. And then on the 8th of November, I received my first grade on my SOAP note that I had written on 10/06. After initially being singled out with my own client for the first few sessions, I was then given a partner for the rest of the class. How ironic, you guys. I got a partner with my client after we had already worked with this client for like 4 weeks. And my partner commented that I was singled out to perform more work independently throughout the remaining sessions, especially on 11:17 and 11:30. So even the person that got put with me noticed that the teacher was trying to make me do more things by myself, and that I was being singled out, which for a partner that I wasn't supposed to have and I didn't get until later on, because he got put with me on the last 2 sessions. Can't remember if it was a boy or girl, but they got put with me in the last 2 sessions and I'd already had it planned out. So basically they didn't have to do anything because I'd already had to do it. So, yeah. In addition to regular classes, I also had to do the 15 hours of tutoring with my tutor. And then I also got another person to help me 5 hours a week, not including how I had to work at a job at the time. And then the other teacher, I never really had a problem with her, so I didn't really have to say anything about her. Anyway, you guys, that was the first year of graduate school. I made it through, and it was rough, but we made it, and that was exciting. Oh, we made it. Yeah, we made it, guys. We made it through that. I'm so sorry if it was like all over the place today. I am tired or something. I don't know. Like, you guys know when you have those days, like, you're just kind of like, blah. But, like, your words aren't coming out. That's kind of happening to me today. I mean, we could go into the next, like, part of 2000. We're going into spring of 2017. But, you guys, you know what? I think we're just going to take a break from reading what happened back then, because it's about to get real. It's about to get really more in depth, and it's getting closer to what really caused me some problems in life. Now, I do think that in the spring semester, I actually did pretty good. Like, I didn't have as much problems as the next year. Like, in the summertime, I started to have more trouble. But I guess we could talk about it if you guys want to, but let's just talk about other stuff in life. This gets pretty heavy to talk about when I talk about the things that was in the past. And, today I just want to sit in the sun and, ooh, you know what? I've been going to McDonald's and I've been trying out a Diet Dr. Pepper mixed with a regular Dr. Pepper, and it's really good. And I'm also going to the Dollar General today to get dog pools, because my dogs just they tear holes in their dog pool, and I need to get them. And they were only $5. So I'm quite excited about $5 dog pools, you guys, and also Dollar General has it to where if it's on sale, you can also add an additional 50% off this, you guys. So this is just really exciting, I think. I also had to get a new bed the other day, and it's coming in the mail today. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're just having one of those days. I'm so glad that you're here, and I really appreciate you listening and spending time with me. Do you want to know why I even started this podcast? Besides the fact that, we all need a friend, and we don't just need a therapist, because I think therapists cause you to drudge up things of the past, but then they want to go deep into your past. They don't want to go what's presently bothering you. Because when I had a therapist, I would tell them I was going through the ringer, because we're about to get into, we're in 2017, and that's when the ringer really started for me, with the abuse and the harassment and all of the other things with the school and the teachers. It starts to get a lot more in depth and a lot deeper into it. Whenever we get into 2017, that's when it starts, especially in December of 2017, we start to really see a downfall in all of it. So anyway, when I was going through counseling, they would try to just say, okay, well, you have to move on from this. You have to be able to move on. Well, how do you move on from a trauma experience when it tears your life down? I mean, at this point in my life, I think I was 24, and it was everything I worked for, and I lost it all because of a person who didn't like me. You guys will see later. What they're doing right now is just, let's just say it's kids stuff compared to what they're about to do. They were literally, I feel like they were out to get me from the beginning, but, I never really realized that until, we actually got into it. So, I don't know. So the therapist would be like, okay, we have to move on from it. We don't need to really talk about it. And I was like, that's what I'm here for, to talk about this. This thing is bothering me. Someone calling you stupid and basically day in and day out for something that you're working so hard to do. And then they have the power to fail you, and then they fail you, and they say, well, that was on you. And I'm like, so you're able to mentally tear me down and mentally abuse me for weeks on end, months on end, and then tell me that it was my fault that I didn't want to talk to you about it in a meeting. Yeah, I don't think so. So we're just kind of going into that. It's about to get really deep into that, but I don't know why the therapist always wanted to talk to me about my past, when I was 16, 15, but didn't want to talk to me about here and now. And that's why I was like, man, that's why you just need a friend, so you can talk to them about your here and now. Because if you don't, who do you have to talk to? So that's where I was at. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and the therapist was just making it worse on me. And then I decided I'm going to go back to how I used to feel, because the person that I was before all of this happened, I was like, you're not going to tell me that I can't do something. I'm going to do it no matter what you say. I'm going to excel. I'm going to exceed expectations. I'm going to, I was a go-getter. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to make it. You could not tell me that I was going to fail, because there's always a way that I could do something better. I would identify the problem, and then we would fix the problem, and I would move on. So that took a lot for me not to be able to fix this problem because they didn't like me so much that they killed. Oh my goodness. You guys want to know something? I do not know where I paused. Great. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to just, you guys, oh my goodness. I was just talking to myself. Okay.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless.
Hello. Welcome to Who Needs a Therapist When You Have a Friend podcast. At least I think that's the name. I think my brain isn't working for some reason that great today, you guys. So you guys just have me. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just hoping that you guys are doing well. And please remember that you can email me. I will put my email somewhere, like maybe in like the comment section or something, so I could get to know you guys too, because you guys, I need friends as well. Like, I don't want to just talk about myself all the time. Okay. So anyway, in 2016, I'm going to recap this for you guys because I think that it needed to be said, and I put something together in my brain the other day that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. I hope you guys have also had watched the previous ones from 2014 to now, but if you haven't, I'm just going to tell you a little bit. So in 2014, when I first started college there was this girl who tried to put me in for plagiarism because I was trying to get help in this like area called the EKU Gurus, and she was trying to put me in a plagiarism thing. Well, there was this lady who my dad had known like from back in the day, and she was friends with him, and she wanted to have breakfast with me in 2014, and so I went to eat breakfast with her, and she was the one that informed me that someone was trying to turn me in for plagiarism. Okay, so this is really important because later on, this woman also plays a role in my life because I had lived with her. I lived with her in 2017 to 2018 because I thought, she was my dad's friend, that she actually cared for me. But actually, after really thinking about it, no, she didn't, because she allowed her daughter to be under the person who I had to write an appeal for. And, we'll just talk about that later, I guess. I'll just restart it. We'll just